This video is to just give a quick overview of the implications for my project and then break it down further into the aggregate implications. So I took all the implications that were identified either in the data profile charts or identified in the videos. I know I didn't have data profile charts for every single category. Some of them were just identified verbally in the videos. So I listed out all of the demographic, perceptual, learning, and process implications for my project. And then I broke them down and sort of kind of took a look at how they applied to not only my classroom, but to our district as a whole, and where I can see primarily the videos, how they could work in other classrooms and kind of across other content areas and embedded into the curriculum. So for instruction, I kind of talked about how they could be used for subplans or extended leaves or additionally into the curriculum as more or less supplemental videos. But also if people found that they were successful, and if I, at the end of the year, find that they're successful for the absentee piece, then that could be a shift in focus as well. And then for assessment, what I had talked about was how these videos could be interesting, like it would be interesting to see if these videos could be used in a science or math classroom, and if there was a diagram or equation on the screen, and then figure out how students could interact and engage with that to either analyze a diagram or solve an equation. So it's connecting the digital space, and they can either answer digitally or they could answer on a piece of paper depending on how an assessment would be set up. And then what I felt was that the instruction and curriculum pieces kind of went hand in hand for my project anyway, because we have a really small district, and I was interested in seeing what other districts might use for digital platforms, either to address absenteeism, for supplemental resources, or any type of digital platform to increase student engagement. And then for behavior, these videos should help students' habits of work, which I've talked about many times before. And then in turn, because their preparation for learning score should be higher than it's been in the past, if they have not been prepared for class because they've been absent and weren't sure what was due, and kind of use that excuse as to why their work isn't done. That shouldn't happen anymore, and therefore their habits of work score should increase, which then in turn has a positive impact on eligibility. And then the vision and plan is kind of bigger than my classroom, is that hopefully these videos are successful, and I find them successful by the end of the year. And that I would hope that maybe other teachers would find them useful in their classrooms, and that they could maybe begin implementation next year in their classroom setting. And that also ties into professional learning. So I would like to provide some type of an opportunity to show my colleagues how I'm using these videos, and how they might be beneficial for them, whether they use them for absentee purposes or not, or just a kind of a supplemental resource. I think it could really be beneficial for them as well. And the collaboration piece, I can foresee these videos being used in courses like humanities, which bridges English, history, and art. And I think it would be really cool to see a piece of art or a video clip on the screen, and then have the teacher explaining how to analyze that piece across all three of those content areas, and how it could kind of all be bridged together. And then for leadership, I plan our superintendent and principal is the same person. So I wanted to discuss with him how I could potentially suggest that we use a digital platform, and it could be used in multiple different ways, but as a universal goal for our staff to work on next year. And for partnerships, I talked a little bit about kind of providing a mentorship opportunity for upperclassmen, and they would receive a score, like as part of a project. They would, teach a lesson through Screencast-O-Matic, and that would benefit an underclassman, and so the upperclassmen would receive a score. And I also feel like it would benefit the underclassmen because they are developing a rapport with one of their peers and learning from them as well. And for data, I had talked about this before, but I'll continue to collect data through perceptions and process data throughout the year. And finally, for climate, I really can see that students will end up taking more ownership for being absent and knowing that they don't have to come see me physically, but there's still an opportunity to find out what's going on, and there's really no excuse for not coming in with their work done. So I think that in turn they will be more accountable for what they've missed, and will come to school with their work done and be prepared for class.